I remember sitting in the library of my uni with two of my friends, and we were getting ready for an exam that was coming up. It was literally only 2 days away, and the problem was that we had all procrastinated for so long and we hadn't studied a single thing. As you can imagine, I was stressed, I was anxious, but there was one feeling inside of me that was really standing out, and that was the feeling of guilt. I knew I had wasted the last 3 months of my life procrastinating, not being productive, where I could have sat down and actually studied. I didn't. I let that time go. I let that time pass by. And now here I am 2 days away from my exams, and I have that regret. I told myself I will never let this happen again. I made a promise to myself that I will never let this happen again. But guess what? In 3 months' time, the same thing happened. I had still procrastinated, I still wasn't productive, and a couple of days away from the exams, I was feeling that same guilt. I was feeling the same level of anxiety and stress. The thing is, I lacked one very simple yet powerful skill, and because of this, I kept on procrastinating. I was sacrificing my deen and my goals in this dunya. I didn't feel like I had the time to pray. I wasn't consistent with praying or reading the Quran or any of that stuff. And I wasn't even consistent with my work for this dunya, for my work for my uni, work for business or anything else. I was just a total, complete failure. I knew I had to change. I knew I had to learn the skill of productivity, the skill of defeating procrastination. So I turned to the best education platform on the planet. I turned to YouTube and I started to gain knowledge. But the problem with YouTube was that I came across kuffar solutions. Yes, they kind of helped, but they weren't that powerful. They weren't going to make a huge difference in my life. And actually, even if I implemented them, they were going to take me away from Allah. They were going to take me away from Islam. And that was like a worse situation, obviously. So I knew that I had to actually turn to the deen. I had to use deen to become more productive, to become more disciplined, to become more consistent, not only for this life, but also the akhirah. And that's exactly what I did. I had realized that the deen was going to be the backbone of my productivity. It was going to be the backbone of my discipline. So I started implementing it. I started paying attention more on my 5 prayers, giving those a priority compared to my work in this dunya. And from that, it became easier and easier for me to actually get work done. But honestly, it was still hard because I had this huge distraction in my life. The distraction was on my phone. It was social media. It was all these little apps. Social media was taking time away from me. It was stealing my time. And without having dealt with this distraction, without having taken this distraction out of my life, I was not going to make progress. So I knew that step 0 was to actually deal with social media. It was actually to take social media out of my life. And the only way that worked for me was to actually just delete all of the apps. It was to delete Instagram, it was to delete Twitter, TikTok, all of these apps, and just not let them back into my life. And I'm going to be honest with you, this was challenging. I would delete the app, and then I would download it again. I would delete my accounts and then reactivated them. I did all of this stuff and it was really challenging. But I stayed consistent with my plan, with my idea of deleting social media. And after a few months, I had finally gotten rid of that addiction. I didn't have that urge. I didn't have that feeling to just constantly be on social media, to do this, to do that, to scroll here, to scroll there. And this really helped me actually implement the principles of productivity, actually implement the principles of deen, and that's when I started to make progress. From here, it was really important for me to develop a strong routine that was easy and simple enough for me to follow on a consistent basis every single day. And the best routine for us Muslims has been given to us by Allah. It has been gifted to us by Allah, and it's the routine of praying your 5 prayers. The prayers, they allow you to consistently and constantly connect with your Lord throughout the day and almost return to your safe place and have that conversation with your Creator. And that's what I started to prioritize. And I learned that by praying, I could bring my focus back to my goals. I could not be distracted by this dunya, but I could stay focused on my work. I could stay focused on my productivity and my focus, and I could continue to be disciplined throughout the day. Not just a couple of hours in the morning or a couple of hours here and there, but throughout the day. I could make my whole day productive, and that really just skyrocketed my progress towards my goals. So I started to make sure that every day I do the right things. So I prioritize the prayers, make sure that I set alarms, that I pray on time, and try not to delay or skip these prayers. And this really helped me to develop a routine, to stay disciplined throughout. But now the problem was that whenever I would come sit down at my desk, it was hard for me to focus. Even after I had removed social media, I didn't know how to actually sit down and get some work done. And I knew that I had to improve my focus. So that's what I did. I learned like the neuroscience behind our brain and why we can focus, how we can focus. And I started implementing those things. I learned the two different types of focus, micro and macro focus. And I knew the one that I really needed right now was micro focus, when I've actually sat down on my desk and I'm trying to do the work. So I learned the different little things, like fasting really helps with your focus. It keeps your brain calm and you can actually be there. But even like simple autistic tips, like keeping your eye contact on your work, not moving your eyes around, but actually looking at your work, because wherever we look at, that's where our brain tends to focus at, just biologically. So that's what I did. I implemented these small different things and they really helped me. And I saw that slowly but surely I was able to bring a change into my life. And slowly but surely I was able to learn this skill of productivity. I was able to master that skill, and it completely transformed my life in both deen and dunya. If you want my help with becoming more productive so you can finally reach your goals in this dunya and the akhirah, there's a link in the description to book a call with me. Go book that call right now, and inshallah I will give you my tips, my advice, the things that helped me so I can help you become more productive. I want to thank you for your time. Go book that call and I will see you there. Bye.